Hello and welcome to Super Mario World 11 Exit Tournament Round 3 match, number 15 JacksonD77 versus number 18 Moo Mooney. Both of these runners have a sub 11 time. Mooney has a 10:50 and Jackson has a 10:49. So they are quite evenly matched. This will be very interesting who takes the win here today. I don't expect any of the runners to have any problems with World 1. With the exception of maybe Iggy's Castle, but I don't expect a deviance of much more than a second. Both runners making it nice and cleanly through Yoshi's Island 3. Both got box jump right away. Making sure to run as long as they can on those brown platforms. They both got a 2:59 on the timer, which means they ran on the platforms enough to get that extra game second. And I'm not too sure which one of these runners goes for shell jumps, but we'll see who gets it. Oh, Mooney just barely clips one of the spike balls. That's unfortunate. Jackson, however, has no problem whatsoever. I feel like that kind of mistake just came from racing nerves. Sometimes when you're put under pressure like this, you tend to forget exactly how to do some of the basic stuff. Jackson having a very nice room 1 with a 281 on the timer. You can get a 282, but the strat to get a 282 is really difficult, and it's not really something you'd like to go in races, because it's really easy to die when you're getting a 280. It really depends on how well you're able to jump on and off of the nets. The climbing nets are such a unique thing in this game. You don't see them very often. Actually, I believe only 2 levels have them. You just don't get that experience with climbing on the nets as much as you do with any other movement in the game. Both runners have no problem with Iggy Koopa, however. It looks like Mooney is about 15 seconds behind because of that death in YI4. Jackson is just basically even with his PB. Heading into Donut Plains. Very nice cape grab from Jackson, using that extra fireball to knock out one of the Koopas to make sure he doesn't get hit. With the most optimal cape flight, you can get a 362 on the timer, just like Jackson did when putting the key in the hole. You can really lose up to 2 or 3 game seconds just from not flying fast enough. Looks like... okay. Mooney does get the backup into the keyhole area. It looked like he was worried that he wasn't going to make it over the pipe, so he tried to go for the dive bomb underneath. He went down a little bit too early. Jackson grabbing the shell in the dry room. Had a little problem there, but not too big a deal. A very nice DS1 from Jackson. There's a 74 dry room from Mooney. That's what you want to see. Also a very nice DS1. That was almost a 258. Running into the ghost house. Jackson has no problem. Mooney getting through the boo ring also. Should set up his room 2 just nicely. Very nice. The moment at which you leave the boo ring in room 1 determines how the boo ring in room 2 will spawn. So if you don't do the setup correctly, then room 2 is kind of a mess. But there were no messes this time. Jackson heading in the Star World. He looks like he's 1 second ahead of his PB right now. Let's see how zips go. The Super M37 Smashola. Yeah, that second one. Well, he managed to at least say that he got the second zip. Let's see how Mooney's is. Ooh, a little bit of trouble in the first one. The second one is good. The second one's the longer zip, so if you miss one of them, you want to miss the first one. Star World 2, pretty trivial. Sometimes it's easy to accidentally get hit by a fish at the very beginning, but once you grab Yoshi and you're up there in the ceiling, pretty smooth sailing. Nice Star World 3 from Jackson. Nice key fly strat. Mooney with just the basic key grab strat. I believe they almost were about even with each other on that level, because Jackson did swing out quite a bit on his flight. Jackson having no problem flying under Star World 4. Again, just like DP1, Cape flight speed is basically this entire level. You want to get a 272 if you can, but a 271 is pretty common if you just can't get that fast fly. And both runners still have their Fire Flower, so we'll probably be seeing some Door 5 deboosts. Jackson switches to his Flower, and immediately running into the spikes. Take that intentional damage. By the time the feather floats back down, the spikes are on their way up, and you can just continue. Ooh, Mooney taking, luckily not actual damage, but just a Cape flight deboost on the spikes there. Looks like his deboost goes well. Jackson already in Bowser. Mooney's gonna have to hope that Jackson messes up the Bowser fight in a pretty major fashion for him to catch up. Both of these runs have been pretty decent. The only big time loss was that very unfortunate death for Mooney in Yoshi's Island 4, just accidentally clipping a spike ball for like a few pixels. This far into the tournament, it's mistakes like those that are going to actually decide the match. Double insta-hit from Mooney, saving a very slight amount of time on Jackson. but he still is about 18 seconds, maybe 15, somewhere between there, seconds behind Jackson. All insta-hits aren't going to save him here. Very nice ball skip and additional insta-hit from Mooney. This Bowser fight is looking very good. And Jackson finishes off Bowser and gets a 10:54. 10:55 in the race room. And Mooney with about an 11:11. 11:10. And that last hit on Bowser. So Jackson will be taking the first win of the series. Basically the entire race, Mooney was behind by 15 seconds, and that was all just that one death. If it weren't for that, this would have been like a very close race. Alright, and now we're on to race number 2. I think we got better sync than last time. Within a second. Hopefully Mooney's nerves have settled down for the next race. Oh! The swag death from Jackson there. That's unfortunate. And he has the audacity to go for it again. Well, hopefully that's not the race decider here. Last time it was just one death, and that one death was basically the race call right there, all the way in World 1. Let's hope that a level 1 death isn't the same. Die to shell jump, you automatically win. I would grab every shell in every level and just keep shell jumping till I died. Mooney has a 259 Y3, no problems there. Jackson with the same. Alright, watch out for that spike ball. Over the spike ball this time. Jackson misses the shell jump. I was worried he was about to die again. A shell jump works by throwing the shell at a very slightly less speed than Mario's speed. And throwing the shell from like left of Mario's position as you're moving right. So that the shell is actually underneath Mario for the moment that you're able to jump on it. If you time it just right, or just wrong, I guess I should say, the shell can actually be inside of Mario when it becomes active, when its hitbox becomes active, and you get dead. Very nice Iggy kill from Mooney. Hopefully Jackson's goes just as well. Very nice. 241 on the timer. That saves 3 game seconds over Mooney, who got a 238. And so heading into World 2, now Jackson is the one that's 13 seconds behind. Heading into DP1, grabbing that feather, getting that fast fly. Hopefully. Want to see a 62. Mooney gets the 62. See how Jackson's is. Getting a 62 on this level is actually pretty tight. You have to get fast fly pretty much immediately, or close to immediately. And then you have to make sure you go down and grab the key without fumbling it like Jackson just did there. Lost about a quarter to a half a second. Sometimes your cape pumps just aren't in the right pattern to make it easy to drop down right away. We'll see if DS1 goes as well as it did last time. Another 57 from Mooney. Very nice. Let's see, Jackson saving that game second in the dry room and loses his shell against the blurp fish. Unfortunately, there's not much you can do about that. There are setups to try to mitigate the cape frame rule from stealing your shell against the fish, but nothing's really 100%. And then he gets a 68 door into the Boo fight, which is very nice. And Jackson with a 69, that's actually very good. I believe you can get a 70, but again, just like getting an 82 in Iggy's Room 1, it's very tight and it's not something you'd see people going for in races usually. Looks like Jackson was trying to get a wall jump there for the extra swag. Heading into Star World. Super M37 Smashola. And he gets the first zip. Second one. Okay, that was very spooky. Sometimes it looks like in his webcam he knew that was super spooky. Sometimes you can die if you do that second zip incorrectly. Jackson gets both. Very nice. So he did save some time there. Looks like with those good zips, Jackson is only about 10 seconds behind now. Still anybody's game. Jackson with a very nice Star World 3 again. Saved maybe a half a second or so in that level. And it looks like for the majority of it, Jackson does have the superior movement, saving extra half seconds here and there. But there are things like flight speed and cape frame rules that really supersede that. And in this race, at least, those have gone in Mooney's favor. Heading into Rally at Bowser, Mooney is only 1.8 seconds behind his PB. And I believe Jackson's about 11 seconds. It's red on red text, I can barely see. Very nice damage boost from Mooney, and it looks like Jackson's will work as well. And Mooney's in the Bowser fight with his cape. Ooh, I saw that coming. Jackson loses his cape on the Mecha Koopa. It looked like he jumped a little late, so he was too high up and he was going to bonk on the ceiling, so he tried to fix it by dropping down, but he dropped down a little bit too much. And if Mooney's Bowser fight goes as well as his Bowser fight in his last race, he's got this. Jackson does play a lot of low percent, I believe. So even though he doesn't have his cape, he should still have a pretty decent Bowser fight. For not having a cape, that is. Jackson had a little problem throwing Mecha Koopas. I know yesterday there were a few matches in a row where we had people who, like, their up button was broken or something, having a lot of trouble throwing Mecha Koopas. And Jackson, or Mooney, sorry, finishing with a 10:53 on his splits. Only 2.2 seconds off of his PB. And he will take win number 2. Win number 1 for him of race number 2. And Jackson finishing off with 11:13 or so. 11:14. And so this series will be going on to race number 3. And here we go. The match decider. Again, this is SMW 11 Exit Tournament Round 3 match versus JacksonD77 and Mooney. This is race number 3. Jackson took race number 1. Mooney took race number 2. And we'll see who takes race number 3. Hopefully we don't see any deaths in World 1 this time. Jackson said he would go for the shell jump and then didn't. Maybe he was worried he really didn't want to die there. Hey, this is the best sync I've had so far. Both of the previous races were basically decided from the other racer dying in World 1 somewhere. So hopefully we don't see that. We can have a really close race. Oh yeah, I figured why a 4 shell jump would be given. The only reason you wouldn't go for a shell jump in YF4 is if you just don't know how to do a shell jump yet. Once you learn how to do it, you gotta go for it every time. Both runners getting a 259 in YF3, just like every other race. It's basically muscle memory, once you've played the game for so long. Alright, let's see what happens here. Ooh, that was close. Jackson missing the shell jump. That one wasn't anywhere near killing him, so it wasn't too spooky. But hey, we're heading into Iggy's castle within like a second of each other. If anything is to be said from the previous races, Jackson will probably be ahead going into World 2 because his Room 1 of Iggy's has just been that much better. 81 versus an 80. Those climbing nets are just really difficult. Really difficult to get the hang of. Very nice Iggy kills. It looks like Mooney's timer is a little early, so his feed is coming in a little bit quicker. And on the stream they're pretty much tied, so Jackson's ahead by about a half a second. Both of them basically even with their PBs. There are 3 levels with climbing nets. Iggy's Castle, Ludwig's Castle, and Bowser's Castle. Room 2 of Bowser's Castle. There might be more. I know those 3 off the top of my head. Let's see, a 61 and a 60. It looks like Jackson was about to get a 62 there. Sometimes it's really difficult to grab that key. Again, it really depends on the cape flight pattern you have when you're approaching that pipe. If your cape pattern is all messed up, sometimes you'll like get an extra cape pump that completely messes you up. Sometimes the pattern is just not there. Ooh, Mooney kills the Koopa in the dry room, so he's going to have to use the throw blocks here. Jackson losing his shell again on that same fish. Still a very nice backup from Mooney. 51's a pretty decent time for losing that shell in the dry room. Ooh. Oh! Jackson takes damage on the boo ring. I saw when he was going to the left there, he almost hit the ring. Now he's going all out with the small strats. Goes for the iron jump and gets it. Ooh, misses the P-switch. Still staying ahead of Jackson here, but he is not going to have a cape. He's either going to have to go back and get one, or do Star World without a cape, which both of those are going to lose a significant amount of time. Oh. Mooney very close to hitting one of those boos. Manages to escape. Keeps his cape. And so, even though Jackson is the first to exit the ghost house, and the first to enter Star World, Mooney is pretty much ahead right now because of his cape. And it looks like Jackson's decided to continue onward without the cape. Like I mentioned before, I know he's done no cape categories, including low percent. So I'm not surprised he's chosen to push onward. And due to just Star World 1 alone, those Super M37 Smashillas were able to get Mooney into the lead. And since Jackson doesn't have a cape, he can't even do them. Because zips are all about spinning more than 4 blocks at once. And the cape lets you activate those turn blocks and make them start spinning. Jackson knows exactly what he's doing in Star World 3 without a cape. And then let's see if he goes for the no cape Yoshi strat, or if he's going to try to grab that cape. There is a question block up here with the cape in it. Feeding Red Yoshi, so it looks like he will be flying through the level with Red Yoshi. And does not go for the cape. The block was right there. So it looks like he's just going to push onward and maybe get a cape in room 3 instead of Bowser's Castle. Meanwhile, Mooney heading into room 2 misses the door, the final boss of Super Mario World, and has to manually climb the nets to get across the spike pit. And heading into door 5 doing that D-boost. There it is. And Jackson going into room 2 looks like he's just going to push onward and continue with the no cape strats. Does the same door 5 D-boost as you'd normally see, but no extra power up to back it up. I guess that is the fastest way to get through there, if you're not intending to get a cape. The other option would have been just to take door 7, but I believe that would have been slower. Here we are again in the Bowser fight. Mooney's Bowser fights have been on point, so I don't expect him to make any major mistakes here. And Jackson, small again. Ooh, hits Bowser tiny bit too early. He's expecting to hit Bowser directly after he threw an extra Mecha Koopa out. Looks like he's maybe a frame or two too early. And so now he has no Mecha Koopa for the ball skip in phase 2. However, Mooney has a very nice phase 2. We'll be able to finish off Bowser. And, ooh, takes damage, but got the hit. So he finishes with about a 1054. So Mooney will be moving on to round 4. And Jackson here finishing up. Those Mecha Koopas, man, they're hard to throw. It's impossible. They're so slippery. There it is. Finishing within 11:55, it looks like. SRL time. And so looking at the bracket here, Mooney will be moving on to round 4, and he will be playing the winner of Silver Star and Marcelo Matos. Sorry if I mispronounced that name. And Jackson will be moving down to the losers bracket, the bonus bracket, somewhere. The bracket is so large, I can't even find where this... 96. Ah, down here. So Jackson will now be playing Frantic in the losers round 3, looks like. And this race will wrap up, will not wrap up the races for today. There will be another race in 2 hours from now. X Paco versus P Jelly. So stay tuned for that. I believe we have, let's see. We have both runners in here for a interview. Give me 1 second. I don't want the audio to echo. Raise your pajongers. All right. Hello, guys. So, those were some pretty tight races there. Okay, I just realized I was muted. All right. Very nice races, guys. Those are pretty intense.
Yeah. I was convinced I would lose the last round, but I was surprised at the end.
Yeah, when I lost Cape, I was kind of just counting that you like mess up zips, and so I wouldn't lose any time there. Yeah. Sorry, I have to put Discord over everything because my VGA cable broke, so I only have one monitor right now.
All right, so I have one question for both of you. How did each of you feel after your respective deaths in World 1?
I was just like, I had my mic muted, but I was just like laughing out loud. It was hilarious. I wasn't mad. That was great.
On my side, it's a tradition to goof at the start of a competition, but not voluntary. So I feel I live with this. Better laugh than cry.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, I knew that was gonna happen at some point. Yeah. I did that in a weekly one time at like the very end of the level.
Dang, at the very end. That would lose even more time.
Yeah, like 40 seconds.
Ouch.
Almost.
Yeah, the first 2 races, other than your guys' deaths in World 1, would have been like insanely close. Because basically for the rest of it, there's no mistakes.
Yeah, in the first 2 races, like, the first one he had a death that lost like 15 seconds, then I had one, and so then we just played super close to each other. The last one, I know what happened, but I'm just kind of surprised that I got hit. Because I've been working a lot, prepping, trying to get very consistent without getting hit. Because that's one of, like, my worst parts in the game, honestly, is not getting hit there. And so I was kind of disappointed about that, but it was fun.
All right. Let's see. One last question. How do you guys think you're going to do against your opponents in the next rounds?
I don't know my opponents.
Jackson, you are going to be playing Frantic, and Mooney, you are going to be playing the winner of Silver Star and Marcelo, I think.
I will be honest, I will start digging my grave, but trotting apart, I know I have some bread to eat to be better. I have so much thing to learn in Super Mario World. Besides the fact I have a PB of 1050, I have so much to learn to hit 1049.
Oh yeah.
Or better.
Yeah. Our times are really close because I have a 1049.9.
Yep.
Yeah. I was happy with how I played. Like I really just had 2 really dumb mistakes, but everything else was pretty consistent.
Yep.
Like, I feel like if we both didn't make those mistakes that we all had, then we would have had really close races.
That was really awesome.
Yeah.
Good job, guys. Those are some good races. Do you have anything else to add before I knock off the stream here?
Well,
No, but don't forget to follow Jackson. He's a pretty good speedrunner.
thanks, man.
Oh yeah, follow our runners. Do we have a? I don't know if the bot is not online right now, but yeah, please do follow both of our racers. They are exactly as you see on the screen. I believe, Jackson, you have an underscore between N and D in your username.
Yes,
I didn't put in onto the stream, but
that's fine. Yeah, I'm also sorry. This was a very last minute thing.
Oh yeah, no problem. Time zones are annoying.
They are. Okay, I've got to head out now.
All right.
All right, thank you for the race.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
See you later, man.
See you guys.
Yep. Let's rest another time.
All right, and with that, I will leave you guys with, let's check. Real quick. All right, well, I'll leave you with Picante. He's practicing 96 exit. Thank you, everybody, for watching.